Hello, thank you for joining us again, Sensible Reactions. We are your team from Sensible Politics. I am Greg.
And I'm Chris.
And today we're going to talk about that dirty little S word, socialism.
Ooh.
Socialism. Chris has got some opinions, and I've got some opinions too, and we really differ on these. We differ on this one. Chris is going to do a podcast on Chris's Corner. I'm going to do a podcast on Stark Reality. Check us out on Podbean. We are also on Apple, and we're also on Stitcher. So you can check out our podcast to get the more detailed stuff. But we're going to talk a little bit about socialism, how we feel about it. Chris, I'm going to let you go first. Tell me a little bit about socialism. What do you think about socialism?
All right. So the way I look at socialism is a lot of the world, or especially at least in Europe, they do this a lot over there in Europe. And the United States is the greatest country in the world. We're kicking ass, and we're capitalism, and the rest of the world's trying to catch up to us. So why are we going to do something that the rest of the world's already tried, and they're trying to catch up to us? It doesn't make any sense to me.
What are we the best in? We got the most guns?
Pretty much everything. There's really not much we're not the best at. So
okay, there's no data to support that. And I mean no data to support that we're the best in anything. America is not the greatest country in the world just because we say so. You'd have to have some facts to back that up. But when you look at socialism and you look at social programs, I don't think that just because you have some social programs to keep the people who have not from being too low to the bottom is really socialism. I think we're already a democratic socialist society. We have certain social programs because if you look at your paycheck, those are social programs. FICA, what's the other one? Whatever. Yeah. We have social programs.
That FDR put in place, yeah.
Yeah, we are already a democratic socialist country. So I don't see if we add one more social program that makes us not the greatest country in the world anymore. So I don't see just because you had a couple social programs that's a bad thing. I think that maybe we're looking at it a little too extreme.
I look at it with a lot of these programs, they cost money. The United States is already in...
Nothing in life is free.
Yeah, nothing.
But the best things in life are free.
Well, we're already in so much debt. They're talking about giving out free college, all these different programs that they're wanting to put in. We can't pay the bills that we already have. We're literally going negative every day. So let's get that in order first. Let's get these other bills paid off first. And then if we want to talk about that, okay, then maybe we can make a new purchase.
Isn't it the government's responsibility to educate the people?
It is their responsibility, but it's also their responsibility to be fiscally responsible with our tax dollars. I mean, this is our money that they're taking out of our checks. We have no say in it, and it's getting it's gone. Like we're negative every day.
Are healthcare and education very important?
Yes.
Isn't it worth paying a little bit of money to get those type of things, to have access to healthcare, to have access to education, to make us that great promise of being the greatest country that we are?
And we get foreign exchange students that come here from all around the world that want to come to our great and amazing universities, where we have people from around the world that come here for our health institutions, where we have these like the Hopkins Institute and all these different areas in the country. We have the top of the line services in those areas.
It's a shame that nobody can afford it, though.
People from around the world love to flock here to come here.
But we can't afford it. We live here, and we can't afford it. We can't afford the best health care in a lot of cases. We can't afford to get the best education in a lot of cases without getting a loan that will put you in debt for the next 30 or 40 years. So if you have some social programs in place that can lower the cost of college, lower the cost of health care, why would that be a bad thing? Because we've already wasted so much money on other things. Maybe we can take money away from those things and put it towards things that are more important.
Yeah, I agree that the cost needs to be lowered, but it doesn't need to be given away for free. There's a big difference.
It's not free because, even a social program costs somebody money. It costs us money. It comes out of our check. We do pay for it. Mm-hmm. So it's not free. It's just regulated and controlled.
And more money's taken out of your check, the more money gets spent.
And less, and you'll have to pay less at the end of the day.
You pay... more money gets taken out of your check, but you pay less.
If you get more money taken, if they take money out of your check to pay for health insurance, is it necessarily going to be the same cost of a premium? Don't know that, do you? But you say, well, don't do it. So I think if you have the numbers, then maybe you can make an argument that you shouldn't have social programs. But if you don't even have the numbers, you can't just say we can't afford it, especially without trying, or to say that we shouldn't try at all because we've got debt. It's like, no, we could just stop paying for other things and we can actually fix all the issues that we have.
No, I think a lot of these issues we're talking about, the cost of education can be taken care of by free market capitalism. Right now, we don't have free market capitalism with the universities. The universities, we have customers, who are the students, who are guaranteed a loan. You can charge whatever you want, and they will be able to pay whatever the universities want them to pay because it's guaranteed by the federal government. You get that out of there, and you have real free market capitalism when it comes to the universities and how much things are going to cost. You will see that drop a significant amount if you get the federal government out of these things. The exact same thing with healthcare as well.
What did it take the federal government to make that happen, to make that possible?
It would take the government to get themselves out of it. I mean, they're involved in it. We talked about Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac. They guarantee these loans so that, I mean, if you're 18 years old, you can't even get a car, a $10,000 car, without a cosigner of your mom or dad, but yet you can take out a loan for $50,000 a year to go to college. So, I mean, it doesn't make any sense. And the only reason why you can take out that loan is because the student loans are guaranteed by the government and the car loan is not. So that's why it's there. So you got to get the government out of these things. More free market capitalism is the answer to this stuff, not socialism, giving out free handouts.
Well, how do you get to free market capitalism? It's impossible if you don't have government oversight. If the government doesn't make the market, okay, free market means everybody just works in everybody's own best interest. But
yes.
That means that the government isn't involved at all. So you're saying if the government just stops being involved, people start doing the right thing. It's not really going to work because people are already programmed to make as much money as possible.
You'll make the most money as possible depending on what the market can bear. So if people can't afford to pay out this amount of money for colleges every year,
nobody will go.
They're not going to go. They'll go to somebody else who's charging less, which will in turn create somebody else to lower their prices. Because if I can go down the street and get college over here for way less, well then the really high price is going to have to lower them. Or diversify and maybe add better value. It's actually worth it to me to pay that extra dollar amount, whatever the case is. But the only reason why they're able to charge what they're charging is because the government's guaranteeing the loan so that they're going to be able to charge that.
They're cheating us. We're all being cheated. We're all being cheated by the government, by the financial institution.
And socialism, so you say they're cheating us. Socialism is bringing more government intervention into our lives. I'm saying get that government out of our lives.
I'm not necessarily pro-socialism. I'm pro-social programs. I don't think it's the same thing as socialism. Socialism means that there is no form of government. Everything is just everybody in the society is working amongst each other, and there is no capitalism. But we do have capitalism. You can still make money. You can still make a living. That's not socialism. I'm saying we don't live in a socialistic country, and that's not even a proposal for us to become socialist. Social programs do not make you socialist. No, it's not necessarily socialist. Socialism is a financial or an economic system. So that's socialism. I think we misconstrue the definition of socialism and we call everything socialism. We call everything on the verge of communism when that's not what it is.
It sounds pretty damn close to communism. There's an ism at the end of there.
And that's why we need to invest in education, because we got so many people that don't know the definition. They don't know one thing from another. People don't even know what socialism is, but everybody calls Bernie Sanders a socialist. Democratic socialism is not socialism.
Has the word socialist in it.
Just because it has the word.
Just because it says it's socialism doesn't mean it's socialism.
Really? Really, Chris? The word, just because the word socialism is in it, okay. All right. So give me a little bit of insight on what you think it would be the best. All right. So you said go free market.
Yes.
What about healthcare? We got a free market in healthcare, right?
Again, I mean, you have guaranteed stuff with these insurance companies. I don't know. I mean,
the government doesn't back your insurance or anything. So
no, but the hospitals can charge the insurance whatever they want. So then, which creates a situation where that they can raise the prices, where you get $50, $60 for a Tylenol in a hospital, where you can go to Walgreens and get it for $2.
But would you not go to the hospital? If you're sick and you're dying, are you not going to go to the hospital because it costs too much?
I would end up having to go, yeah, because I mean, I don't want to die, obviously.
Free market.
Yeah.
So how do you lower the price? How do you make it affordable? You said if you let the free market reign, then when people get sick, if the cost is too much for healthcare, people just stop going to the hospital, just like they'll stop going to college, right? Is that your same solution, or do you have something different for healthcare?
Well, if you don't if you don't have the insurance companies, then everybody had to pay out of pocket. Like if there was no insurance whatsoever, and everybody had to pay out of pocket, how many people could actually afford these astronomical doctor bills?
So you think that the price
will drop because
if no insurance companies existed. So now that's not free market, because now you have to eliminate insurance companies.
Maybe I contradicted myself there.
Just a little bit.
Yeah. To be honest, I'm not smart enough to understand the healthcare aspect of it. I also would say that Barack Obama and Nancy Pelosi weren't smart enough to figure out healthcare either. Neither was Hillary Clinton. They've all tried.
I don't think they tried. I don't think they really tried. I mean,
it's a pretty
I think they
complicated situation.
It is a complicated situation.
And I'm not smart enough to know.
I don't think they tried. But, okay, so...
I clean cars for a living. I'm not smart enough to figure out healthcare, but I do say that it's not where it needs to be.
Okay. All right, so I've looked up all right, so definition of socialism: a political and economic system, theory of social organization which advocates that the means of production, distribution, and exchange should be owned or regulated by the community as a whole. That means that you don't have any government at all.
But what is community in that sense?
Everybody owns everything. Everybody shares everything.
Community, in the sense of when you talk about country, is the entire country.
Everybody, the people.
Who runs the country? The government.
No, you can't have a government in a socialist society. There is no government.
Okay, so if you're going verbatim to the actual Webster's dictionary,
but if everybody calls it socialism, you got to say what socialism really is.
So that means that there's no area where there's ever been socialism, because every country has a government.
I think the Native Americans might have been socialists.
You told me this earlier, and I kind of agree.
I think they might have been socialists.
Yeah.
I think there may be indigenous, aspects of socialism.
The hunter-gatherers, where we all are invested in this together.
We live off the land. Yeah, everything is ours.
Yeah.
I don't think in the system...
What a simpler time.
Yeah, it was simple, but you might not have water. You might have to walk 10 miles to the nearest stream.
That's an inside joke.
If you listen to this podcast, you'll understand what I'm saying. All right, but I don't think it's fair for us to call these little programs of trying to fix everything that is bad socialism. Socialism has this terrible stigma on it, because where there's socialism, there's naturally, according to Marx, socialism is the gateway to communism.
Yes.
And we don't understand the actual meaning of communism either, because we think communism is Fidel Castro. He's a
Stalin.
Yeah, that's a dictatorship.
Mao.
Mao's. And these are dictatorships. These still have that same government. They still have a form of government that exists over it. Actual communism and socialism do not have a form of government because everybody governs themselves.
And see, that's where most people who are against these type of things kind of get lost, because that's what the pro people say about this. When you're pro-communism or you're pro-socialism, well, it's never been implemented the right way. And that's why it hasn't worked, because every time it's been implemented, millions upon millions of people have been killed and slaughtered.
But nobody...
Every country, you have Mao in China, killed millions of his own people. Stalin killed millions of his own people. Cuba didn't kill millions because he didn't really have millions, but he killed a lot of people there too. So many of the Cubans were fleeing down to Miami. Go down to Miami. You can get a great Cuban sandwich down there in Miami because they all ran away from that guy. There's never been an area where people love to be a part of a communist government. They all ran away from it. They came to a capitalist government, a capitalist society that is the greatest in the world.
Okay, this stuff isn't factual, but okay, I get what you're saying, but no one is proposing communism or socialism. Yes, in those cases, they went bad, they went wrong,
they went real bad.
But nobody's saying that's what we should do. Nobody is saying, how about we become communists? Nobody's saying, let's get rid of capitalism. Nobody has ever said get rid of capitalism. What we do say is capitalism is broken because it is too exploitive, and we need to fix it so that we can still have everybody survive and not have so many people that have not and so few that have so much. There's never an excuse for 5% of the population to have 90% of the wealth. In a nation. Slope. It's not that slippery.
It's a slippery slope. Because what if socialism doesn't work? If
so a 2% tax on the ultra wealthy is socialism. That's a slippery slope. So if you put a 2% tax on people with over $1 billion, if you give them a 2% tax, that is riding the slippery slope of socialism.
That's okay. I'm fine with that.
But that's what people.
It's when you start adding in the other programs, it's where it becomes a problem.
But that's how they're going to pay for the programs, with the tax of the wealthy.
Yeah, I look at it as a slippery slope. So you start doing democratic socialism and saying
we've already been doing it.
Well, we've been doing crony capitalism, which is not right either.
I'm talking about Medicare. I'm talking about Social Security. I'm talking about what do you call it with the food stamps and stuff? What do they call that?
Social programs. I mean,
yeah, you got social programs all over the place. We have social programs. We live in a democratic socialist society. And that's never going to change. If you just add another program and just eliminate some of the waste, because just like you said, there's all this corporate welfare. You end the corporate welfare, and then you can pay for other things, and you can kind of eliminate the gap.
That would be an amazing thing if we can eliminate the corporate welfare.
I'm good with numbers, and I'm really smart, and so maybe I'll put together a plan. But, I really don't have anybody that I could give it to because Democrats don't really feel that way and Republicans don't really feel that way. So we're going to be stuck in the same rut, and Donald Trump is probably going to cut back on more of our education and cut back on more of our health care, and then the Democrats are going to get in. They're probably going to do more of the same.
All right, guys. So we go a little bit more deeper into our own personal beliefs. Greg's going to do one on Stark's Corner, or on Stark's Reality.
Stark Reality.
I'm Chris's Reality. I did it. Oh, man. It's been a long night. Yeah. But yeah, check us out, guys. See what you guys think. Always check out the podcast. Give us a review. Give us 5 stars. If you give us only 4 stars, I'm inclined to think that you are a hater.
Yeah, we need you to help us with the analytics so that we can get more views, so that we can get more support, and more people can get more information, because we have an uninformed electorate, and people don't even understand what they're going to be voting for in the coming election. So we're just trying to inform. We're trying to teach everybody. But thanks for viewing. Also, don't forget, like, share. Go to our podcast on Podbean. We're on Apple, and we're on Stitcher.
Have a great night.